Hi everyone. In this video, in preparation for the midterm exam, we'll cover questions 12 through 22. Right, number 12, it says the measure of angle OMN is 2x plus 6. And notice that that's referring to this little angle right here, 2x plus 6 for this measure. And then it says the measure of angle LMN, which is this angle over here, is 12x minus 1. And the measure of angle OML, which is the whole entire angle, if you read those letters from O to M to L, so that's the entire angle, it has a measure of 61 degrees. So I'm going to use a little bit of angle addition here. So the two smaller angles, 2x plus 6 plus 12x minus 1, will add together and form that 61 degree angle. So notice that it says not just solve for x, which we have to do, but then we'll have to go back and plug it in to find the measures of angles OMN and LMN individually. Okay, so to solve this equation, take and add your like terms together. So we have a total of 14x, and 6 minus 1 is positive 5. That's equal to 61. Subtract 5 from both sides. We end up with 14x is equal to 56. And then take and divide by 14. And when you do so, you end up with x is equal to 4. So like I mentioned, we have to plug it back in. So to find the measure of angle OMN, you want to take and do 2 times 4 plus 6, or 8 plus 6, which will give you 14. Okay, and then for the measure of angle LMN, it's equal to 12 times 4 minus 1, which will be 48 minus 1, or 47 degrees. And that's the measure of angle LMN. So watch out for those follow-up questions on the midterm. And number 13, we just have to classify the angle as right, acute, or obtuse. And this angle is going to be acute because it has a measure that is less than 90 degrees. Okay. All right. Number 14, the measure of angle B is 104. Classify the angle as acute, right, or obtuse angle. It's obtuse because it's greater than 90. Greater than 90, like that. Okay, and number 15, it says y is a point in the interior of angle AOB. So first, draw angle AOB. And you can put point y anywhere in the interior. It says draw a sketch and name two adjacent angles. So what we want to do is connect point O to point y with a ray. And then we can name these two angles because they are adjacent to each other since they share a vertex and they have this side in common. So our two adjacent angles that are formed are angles AOY and angle YOB. And you can also call it BOY. Okay, for number 16, it says point S is between points R and T. I know it sounds like one of our previous questions, but it is a little different. So let's put R and S and T. And then it says point P is the midpoint of RS. So if this is line segment RS right here, we want point P to divide this segment into two congruent parts. So it tells us that the length of the whole entire segment from R to T is 20. Line segment PS is 4. It says draw a sketch to show the relationship between the specified segments, and then we have to find the length of ST. Alright, so the hints here, since PS is 4, RP has to be 4, and those two add up to 8, so that leaves us with 12 for ST. So ST is equal to 12, and this is all by segment addition. I just did 20 minus that 8 to come up with that 12. Okay, number 17 is a little bit of a different type of question. This is about notation. it says T is the midpoint of PQ. So here's line segment PQ. And we're told that T is the midpoint. So that means it divides the segment into two congruent segments. So it says, which of the following is not an appropriate statement? So it's actually a little bit of a tricky question. For part A, it says that PT, the length of PT plus the length of TQ is equal to the whole length of PQ. And that's actually right. So that one we're not going to choose. It's correct. For B, it says PT equals TQ. You'll notice there's an equal sign, but no symbol. So that means that their lengths are the same. And that's true in our picture, since PT and TQ are congruent, they have the same length. So that's okay. For C, it says that line segment PT is congruent to line segment TQ. We have the congruent symbol, and we also have the symbol for segments, so this is correct. D is the one that's incorrect, and this is what makes it tricky. There's an equal sign, so it should be comparing numbers. So it should not have that symbol above. So it's the wrong symbol to have if we have line segment symbols for notation. And again, it's a little tricky. Okay, number 18, it says ray AB bisects angle LAX. So let's draw angle LAX. So here's L to A to X. And ray AB is going to come in and bisect it. So that means it divides it into two congruent parts. And it says that angle XAB measures 34 degrees. That means that LAB would also measure 34 degrees. That's all we had to find. So measure of angle LAB, 34 degrees. Number 19, it says, in the figure shown, the measure of angle AED, which is this angle here, is 103. Then it says, true or false, angles AEB and AED are adjacent angles. So trace them out. So here's angle AEB in yellow, and here is angle AED in green. And it's true that they are adjacent angles because they share the side EA in common. So true. Okay, number 20, it says in the figure shown, the measure of angle AED is 135 degrees. So that means that angle BEC is also 135 because they're vertical angles. And to find these two angles on this side, what you can do is take 180 minus that 135, and you come out with 45 degrees. So this angle is 45, and this angle is 45. So it says true or false, or like which of the following statements is false? The measure of angle AEB is 55. That one is false. Okay, let's just double check with all the other answers. The measure of angle BEC is 135. That's true. BEC, angle BEC and angle CED are adjacent. That's true, because this is BEC, this is CED. They share this side and this vertex. And finally, AEB. AEB is this angle on the left, and DEC are vertical angles. That's also true. So A is the false answer. Okay, for 21, it says ray OR and ray OP are opposite rays. So if they're opposite rays, they're going to form a straight line. So let's say that this is O to R, and this is O to P. Okay. It says that ray OQ bisects angle TOR. So make angle TOR. And then OQ is going to bisect it. That means these two angles are equal to each other. And we're also told that the measure of angle TOQ is 41 degrees. So this angle QOR would also be 41 degrees. And then we have to find the measure of angle TOP. So let's just call it X. So those three angles together form a straight line of 180 degrees. So we have X plus 41 plus 41 equals 180. So x plus 82 equals 180. And that means that x will be equal to 98 degrees. So this angle would be 98 degrees. Okay, our last one for this video segment is 22. And notice that these two angles are adjacent and they form a straight line. So they have to add to 180. So we need to take 2x plus 37 plus 2x plus 35 and set it equal to 180. That'll give us 4x plus 72 is equal to 180, or 4x is equal to 108. Take and divide by 4, and you get x is equal to 27. Final answer. All right, keep working away. Next video, we'll cover the next page in your review.